Jungkook was still making her scared. Both Wan and Jungkook were looking at each other, and Jin was holding Jungkook's hand. He dragged her outside, but still Jungkook's eyes didn't left Wan's favor. Soon the door got shut, and Jin took Jungkook out and living area. Jin, what are you doing, Jungkook? Why are you making her scared that much? You know she is getting depressed, and look at you making her more depressed. Jungkook glared at Jin and said, I told you I don't care about her. Jin, don't lie. Mouth can lie, but eyes never. Jin came there to take a look at us. That how is she? Jungkook scoffed. Don't, Jungkook, don't give me these looks. I know you. Jungkook, listen, Hein. Your these words don't have any effect on me. I told you only 2 days, and after that it's over. Jin rolled his eyes and said, I'm taking her out of the room. He needed. Jungkook looked at him disbelief and said, you are allowing the killer of my family to roam here and there, and that's in my house. No, never. Jin, enough, Jungkook. She is not, and you know it. Jungkook didn't say anything. Jin, I will take it as a yes. Then saying that Jin left because he knew Jungkook will argue, and before that he have to disappear from his side. Jungkook looked at Jin in disbelief, and then he looked at the closed door of Fine and said, only 2 days. Time skipped at next day. Yesterday and today, Jin was taking care of Vine as his sister, and today was the day she decided to ask her to come outside the house. And as far as it was about Jungkook, he stayed outside the house, not having a thing about Vine roaming in the house. Jin came inside and saw Vine looking outside the window, lost in her thoughts. He smiled and went towards her, gaining her attention. Before he could say something, Vine said, I want to go back to my home. Jin looked at her and sighed inside. Jin, I can't do that for you, Vine, but yes, I could take you out of this room. You need to move out from this room, Vine, or else you will get depressed more. Vine again looked outside the window. Jin, I'm not forcing you, Vine, but I know one thing until Jungkook take his revenge from Italian, he won't leave you. Jin, that's why I'm asking you to come out of this room. From yesterday, you are here. Jin sighed and took a step back and left from there. And mine turned around and looked at the door. When I can't stay here, I have to find a way to go out. Mine decided to go out of the room and look at the conditions so that she can plan escape. Also, she didn't saw Jungkook. She didn't knew he was outside. She thought maybe he was planning something for her. Pine came downstairs with slow steps and saw Jin sitting on the couch and Rhonda was guarding. She took a deep breath and went towards Jin and stood just a few steps away from the couch, taking his attention. Jin saw her and smiled that finally she came out, while also smiled slowly. Jin, it's Jungmin, and the photo beside that one is of Jungkook's brother and his sister-in-law. Vine looked at Jin and again looked at the frame. Vine, and what about you? I mean, do you also live here? Jin shook his head and said, Jin, no, I don't stay here, but I usually come here for business, and as I am also a share partner, and Jungkook is also like my younger brother. Mine nodded and was about to say, but before that, Jungkook, don't tell her anything personal, Hang, or else you know they are good at snatching them away. Both looked at the entrance and saw Jungkook coming inside, while hands in his pocket, and he was looking straight at Vine. Jin looked at Vine and saw her feeling uncomfortable. Jin tried to change the environment. Jin, when did you came back, Jungkook? The time when you were wasting your time on her, Jin Jungkook. Jin glared at Jungkook, but he gave him an unbothered look and came towards them. Jungkook, how are you feeling now? Was my torture was enough, or should I have to work hard? Jungkook was mocking her. Jin gave him a hard look, but he was looking at Vine when Vine gathered herself and glared at him back and said, "You don't have any humanity, don't you, Jungkook? My humanity the day I buried my family with my own hands. Vine, stop involving my father into it." Fine, I know he can't do that. Jungkook chuckled bitterly and said, "It's hard to accept that reality. I know, just like I was ready to accept that I lost my family." Van looked at him with tears in her eyes, and Jungkook was all losing himself. Jin was so confused to handle whom right now. Soon Jungkook went from there because he knew he wouldn't be able to control himself and will do something wrong. And Vine was now sure that before he do something, she have to run from him. Just like that, time was passed, and Vine saw that the back door of the mansion was clear. She could run from there, and that's when she decided to go at midnight. At Kim's house, Mrs. Kim, "It's been 4 days. Vine is there. When will you get her back?" Mrs. Kim asked Mr. Kim. "Mr. Kim, I'm trying, but Jungkook is not picking up my calls. I have to take the help of Italians now." Mr. Kim picked up his phone and made a call to Italian Mafia Liam. "Mr. Kim, you know my daughter is under the control of Jungkook. I'm paying the price of it. I didn't even know it was his family inside the car." "Liam, it's not a big deal. We are mafias. Taking lives of innocent is also our part." Mr. Kim closed his eyes and said, "I have heard that you are planning to attack him in his house, but please don't do that. My daughter is there." Liam chuckled and said, "I look like I care. I will attack him no matter what. As far as it's about your daughter, it's not my headache." Liam cut the call. Mr. Kim knew Liam will make him a fool. He got stuck into his trap, and now the only way to take Pine out of there was by talking to Jungkook, and now Kim was preparing himself to enter inside the lion's den. Later that night, Pine came out of her room looking here and there. She saw that the door of Jin and Jungkook's room were closed and lights were off, like they were sleeping. She looked downstairs and saw her path clear. She went downstairs and went towards the backyard door which led to the outside. Vine went towards the backyard and looked at her surroundings, but she didn't find anyone, not a single guard. She looked at the door and started moving there. She saw that the door was already open and no one was outside. And just then she decided to step outside the house. As soon as she was about to step outside, a voice came, making her froze on her skirt. "Jungkook, wrong move for you, but best for me." She looked at the back and saw her standing on the chair while putting one leg on another. She again became scared and looked at him nervously. Jungkook stood up. His partner started approaching her. Vine took a step back and decided to run, and as soon as she turned around to run, she found herself flying in air. And just then Jungkook picked her up and threw her on his shoulder and started going. Vine hit it on his shoulder and back, but nothing was working. Jungkook came inside the room holding Vine and dropped her on the bed. Vine crawled back, but Jungkook pulled her leg and pulled her towards him and hovered over her and said, "You think I will leave your path that easily?" Both were making an intense eye contact. Jungkook looked in her eyes and saw there were tears. "Don't show me these innocent eyes of yours. The beast inside me will never melt until he takes what he wants." Jungkook whispered on her lips. "Fine, but if you want, you can take out that beast who is hiding inside you, and you can clear your mind knowing that you are torturing and caging an innocent who means no harm to you." Van made her statement, which made his heart to Jungkook's heart. Both were looking in each other's eyes. Van was trying to convince him that he was doing wrong, but Jungkook was not ready to accept it. "Jungkook, until I get my revenge, I will never let that beast die." Jungkook gulped a lump and stood up straight. Jungkook, you are not allowed to step outside the room now. You don't deserve it. You can fool Jin, but not me. Jungkook went outside and closed the door and locked it. Next day, Jin came downstairs running. Rhonda came running and stood in front of him. Jinba Vine's room door is locked. Rhonda said it's boss ordered that she is not allowed to step outside the room. Jin, why? Rhonda, she tried to escape last night and King caught her, and that's when he decided that. Rhonda told him everything that happened and then she showed him the keys. Rhonda, I am going in her room to take her breakfast. Jen, give me the keys. I will go to her. Rhonda nodded and gave the keys. Vine was sitting on the bed, lost in her thoughts when Jin came inside. Jin looked at her and she looked at him. Jin went towards her and sat on the bed and said, is it true that you attempted to escape? Vine didn't say anything and he got his answer. Jin sighed and said, Jin, you shouldn't have done that. You know that he will get angry on you and will not go easy. Vine looked at Jin and said, I will not stay quiet. I will leave from here and again I will try to learn if I get a chance. Jin was about to say something but was stopped. Jungkook, keep dreaming. They looked at the door and saw Jungkook standing there. Jungkook, keep dreaming because these things can only help in your dreams. Vine stood up and approached him and Jin also stood up. Vine, I will never stop trying. You will see me going out. Jungkook chuckled bitterly and smirked, making Vine's blood boil. Jungkook, I told you, keep dreaming just like your parents are dreaming that they will see their daughter back. Vine had enough of Jungkook. She raised her hand to slap him, but Jungkook was fast enough to hold her hip. Jungkook twisted her hand and turned her, and now they were standing in a position like Jungkook was back hugging her. He was holding her arm at her back, and she was wiggling to get out of it. Jin was about to come forward, but Jungkook's one dark glance was enough to stop his feet. Jungkook, looks like I have given you freedom and you got these guys to raise your hand on me. You need a punishment. Jungkook sat in his chair, deep voice in her ears, and started dragging her outside the room by holding her arm. Jungkook stopped, but Jungkook was already out. Jin followed Jungkook, who was dragging Van, but soon as they saw reaching living room, Jungkook stopped and Jin also looked at the front, and there they saw Van's father standing in the living room, surrounded by Jungkook's guard. Van, Dad, a whisper left from her mouth, and she looked at him. Jungkook looked at Van's father with a glare, like he was ready to take his soul out of his body any time, but soon his cold lips turned into a smirk, and he looked at Van's dad and then at Van, and Van was also looking at him, knowing something was coming. What did Van sense? What will Jungkook do now, seeing Van's father standing right in front of him in his house? Will he leave Van, or he has something other plans? Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the next part.